Welcome back to Perks Recap. We're back at it again with Al and Jordan, the unicorn, as we are ready to go over our MLB predictions. As we always do on this podcast, we hold ourselves accountable and we tell you what we got right and what we got wrong. Guys, you guys ready to jump into our predictions from way back in March?
Oh, I can't wait, my man. This is going to be fun and probably embarrassing.
I'm excited. We all know that baseball's my sport, so I'm excited to go over because I don't remember some of them. So it'll be good to see how much of an ass I made myself.
Yeah, don't worry, you're not alone. You're not alone.
Oh, I love it.
All right. Well, I think we should start. Why don't we do the divisions in each league one by one? Start with the NL East, if that works for everybody.
Sure, man.
Yep.
Okay, all three of us had Atlanta winning the division.
Whoops.
Atlanta came in fourth.
They were awful. They were unbelievably bad and so surprising.
I don't get it, how they were so bad.
Yeah, I right there with you, my man. I mean, just brutal.
Most of it was because of injuries. I mean, they lost Acuna and Strider at the beginning of the season, and then when they came back, they lost Riley. Yeah, they were just all over the place. And Iglesias didn't have his great stuff this year.
Yep, that's true. Well, we all had Philadelphia coming in second, and of course we all know that they won the division.
Absolutely.
And,
Go Phils, yep.
By a mile.
Yeah. Yep.
So go ahead, Al, if you want to talk about your Phils a little bit.
Oh man, what a year. I mean, geez. I mean, it's funny. I can't talk about the Phils without talking about the epic collapse of the Mets too, because I mean, they had the best record in baseball in the beginning of June. And they,
June 13th, they were 45-24 or something. They were 21 games over 500, best record in baseball. And then from June 13th on, I forgot exactly what it was, but they're like 17 or 18 games under 500.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They had some injuries too, but everybody deals with that stuff, and the vaunted pitching lab, can bite me. Their trade deadline was an absolute disaster, and I found a fun stat. Check this out. So, who was it? Fangraphs did an analysis of every team's trade deadline haul, and they figured it out, a win probability added at the deadline with the trades. And here's the Mets were minus 3.77, and they were trying to win. The Minnesota Twins traded away 10 players on their major league roster and had only a minus 3.51.
Oh my goodness.
The Mets were worse than the Twins in wins added at the trade deadline.
The thing is, when they made the trades, I thought they did a good job. I liked all the trades, but just everybody came over and could not do anything.
Tyler Rogers was great. Everybody else stunk.
Yeah, but Tyler Rogers was really bad when he first got there, and then he straightened out. And but what's his name? The guy for the Cardinals, Helsley.
Yeah. Oh, he was brutal.
He's like one of the best relievers in baseball.
Brutal.
And he comes over and he can't get anybody out.
Yeah, absolutely brutal.
Well,
I mean, Rogers had an ERA of 2.3, so he was good overall there, but everybody else was terrible. Gregory Soto, I told you guys that Gregory Soto pickup was sucked, and he had an ERA of 4.5. That guy's combustible, man. But the rest of them, Cedric Mullins was a gamble on past performance, and it did not work. He had two of the worst months of a pretty good career. And the pitchers, except for Rogers, were bad. So it looked good on paper the day of, Yeah,
on the surface, I was like, okay, the Mets improved their bullpen. They needed to do that.
Absolutely.
And they did not at all. And then all the starters completely shit the bed.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. So all that to say, the Phils just stepped on their necks when they were down and just had a heck of a second half and a heck of a year. They finished second in baseball in wins. And, they did it without Zach Wheeler for half the season, which is just astonishing. And they still had Ranger Suarez had a couple bad starts in September that put his ERA up above 3. But with a month left, he was roughly third or fourth in the Cy Young odds. And Christopher Sanchez is going to finish second. So they had 2 guys in the top 5 in the Cy Young until the last couple weeks of the season, and Rangers still going to be up there somewhere, probably in the top 10. So just what a finish. The Duran pickup ended up being spectacular. He was an absolute beast for them, and he has one of the coolest entrances you'll ever see, complete with a digitized tarantula, and just it's priceless. It was a great addition. Schwarber's going to finish probably second in the MVP, although I hope he wins. And just a heck of a year.
Jordan, what do you have to add there? Mets and Phils.
Well, for the Phillies, I'm happy. I like the Phillies. I think this is, it's definitely a lot to all these guys that came in, and they've done really well. Even Max Kepler, who actually kind of, was an off-season acquisition. Started out slow, but then has done very well recently. Harrison Bader, again, was another guy who you questioned of, okay, this is going to be more for be in the outfield, and it's going to be at bat, and he's actually done really well for both.
Yeah.
On both sides. And then, and even guys who you think are down and out, Al, I know you watch the Phillies more than we do because, you're from the area, but even guys like, JT Realmuto, Castellanos, guys who are like, okay, they're washed, they're done. They've done very, very well for this team to where the point I know we'll talk about it later in here, but I think they're a dangerous ball club. From the pitching to the hitting to even the bullpen. I mean, you have a 40-something David Robertson, and he's acting like his rookie years with the New York Yankees. It's crazy of how great this team is.
I love it. I agree with everything you said. A couple really pleasant, surprising contributors. Edmundo Sosa, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Sosa, who had a 3 home run game the other night, is one of the better bench players in baseball. All their guys that had off years last year bounced back and at least had good, if not very good seasons. Alec Boehm had an OPS of 740, which is where he needs to be, somewhere in that range. Bryson Stott came back from an awful year and had an OPS of 719. Trey Turner, by the way, won the batting title with the lowest batting average in the history of the National League, batted 304.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you guys not know that? Isn't that funny, man? 304 batting average, won the batting title.
That's actually pretty sad.
It is. It's crazy. This could have been a year for somebody to sneak in and win the Triple Crown with a low batting average only necessary for some of the power hitter types, but no dice. Yeah, Trey, and he missed almost 3 weeks or something, and almost a month with that hammy. So he might have fallen back, or he might have ended up better, but yeah, no, just and of course Schwarber was just unbelievable. And their bullpen has been really good on top of their starting pitching. Couple really, like you said, with Robertson, I just can't believe that one. That's awesome. I like the signing when they did it because why not? But boy, he was excellent. Duran, I mentioned. Tanner Banks has turned into a very good bullpen piece. So ERA in the low 3s, 1.01 whip. And Orion Kirkering and Matt Strahm, especially Strahm, have just been super solid and excellent. So, yeah, this is a well-rounded team that has a shot to do some damage in the postseason. I mean, Jesus Luzardo went 15-7 for crying out loud and got his ERA under 4 by the end of the season.
Yeah, as for the Mets, man, the LOL Mets, that it's just been so great listening today to all the crying they're doing. They are absolutely crushed. I mean, because they had high expectations. Like they were talking about World Series or bust this year,
Their
and they didn't.
expectations were as high as their payroll, Craig.
Yes, ridiculous. And yeah, it's been pretty fun listening to them today, and yeah, it's been great. But
I love that.
I who knows what they're going to do? And now it looks like Pete Alonso's leaving, or at the very least, he's going to be a free agent. And they really didn't even want him last year, it seemed like. So I don't think they're going to bring him back. And so they're going to make some wholesale changes. I think we'll see where they end up once the off season really begins with free agency and stuff. But yeah, they just fell flat on their face. One of the worst records in baseball since June. And the pitching lab and all that stuff just did not work this year. And all those guys regressed, and everybody either got hurt. I mean, they definitely had injuries. Sean Manaea, obviously, Senga, and then when he got back, he just couldn't pitch and had to go to the minors.
What an epic collapse that was. How weird was that, by the way?
Yeah, he went to the minors and never came back.
He had an ERA under 2 when he got hurt.
Yeah, he went to the minors and never came back.
And then just collapsed. I've never seen anything like it. That was so weird.
I mean, the only thing they have to hang their hat on for this year is Nolan McLean. Looks like the real deal. Like, he looks really good.
No, he looked great. He did. Yeah. I mean, Clay Holmes looks like he's going to be can be a starter moving forward, but you knew he was going to have a tough second half, never having pitched that many innings, and he did. Ended up with an ERA in the high 3s, but he looked promising for the future now that he's stretched out. David Peterson, though. Yeah. David Peterson looked really good in the first half and just absolutely awful. His ERA was in the 6s in the second half.
He was an all-star.
Yeah, and then his ERA was over 6 for the rest of the season.
So that's hard to explain. But yeah, the other kid too, McLean, Tung, and there's a third. I always forget this.
Yeah. I have it somewhere. I don't know how quickly I'm going to find it.
He was pretty good too once they called him up. They got like an injection of youth, and you thought maybe that would spark them, and they were probably the 3 best starters they had once they all got there, but it was too little too late.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was just, I just love it because, listen, they had the highest payroll. I'm correct that they had the highest payroll in baseball, right? I'm not making that up, right?
Well, I think the Dodgers technically don't have it, and the Mets do, but it's really the Dodgers because of the stupid Shohei Ohtani deal.
Yeah, because of that deferral. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes. But let's say they're 1 or 2. They cheaped out on pitching and it cost them.
Yeah, that was their philosophy. Don't pay for pitching.
Yep. Their richest owner in the world, freaking cheaped out on pitching and it burnt their butt.
I don't think it was really him. I think it was the GM. The GM comes from Milwaukee. He's a small market guy. And, he told Stern that was his philosophy, or told Cohen that was his philosophy when he brought him in. And Cohen said, okay, and just let him do what he wanted. And
wow.
This is what he wanted to do.
Bad philosophy, especially when you got a world to drop.
I bet you they don't change it much. I bet you maybe they pay for like maybe 1 pitcher and then still go the same way the rest of the year.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I love it because it's a glaring weakness. And, I love that if they keep it going in that regard, I love it. Absolutely love
Jordan, do you know the second pitcher that I can't think of, the young kid that the Mets brought up besides McLean and Tung?
I know the name, but I can't remember.
Brandon Sproat.
Oh, Sproat, that's right. Yep, that's it. He pitched well too.
They were the McLean was a clear guy. The other 2 guys were, they had some. Yeah, I mean, Sproat ended up with an ERA of 4.79, so I don't know that you're looking for him. Although it was only 20 innings, so yeah. I mean, who knows with them? You know what I mean? But right. The other. McLean clearly looked very, very promising. The other 2, jury's out.
Right. Yeah, I will say that. But I think all 3 of them are going to be the rotation next year, which means you only got 2 other spots to fill.
By the way, Jonah Tong ended up with an ERA of 7.71 and a WHIP of 1.7. So I don't know if he's going to be in the rotation next year.
I think he will because it was one start. He got bombed the one start, and then the other starts he was okay. Like I mean, it was like literally, I think it was like 2 innings and like 9 runs or something crazy.
Well, his last 4 starts, he gave up 0 runs, 5, 6, and 4.
Okay, the five. Well, yeah, the 5, 6, and 4. There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I'm sure they're thinking about him for the future, but I mean, I don't think he proved it yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope they keep cheaping out on pitching because none of the odds of all three of those guys being valuable contributors are slim, but possible. I remember when they had the big three in the late 90s that, we know how that worked out.
Yep,
Or
exactly.
when was that? Probably that was later than that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. I just love that this GM. I guess I thought it was the owner. That's great that it's the GM because the owner has all the money in the world and is willing to spend it, but the GM's cheaping out on it. I love it. That's great.
Yep, and that's one of the point of contention for the Mets fans is this GM doesn't know how to be a big market GM.
Great. I hope he keeps it going.
All
I
right.
love it. Cool. Yeah. And
So
by the way, all they had to do, because the Reds lost on the last day of the season, all they had to do was beat the Marlins, and they got shut out 4-0. Unbelievable.
yeah, they went out with the one. That's another thing too is their hitting did not hit well at all year. They never hit well with runners in scoring position. They were 0 and 75 or something, or 0 and 70 when trailing going into the ninth. Like they had no ninth inning comebacks all season, not one.
And that's what they did last year.
And last year they had a ton of them.
Yeah. Fascinating. They were also bottom 3 team in Major League Baseball in defense.
Yep. Oh, then the defense started. Yep, all that. Okay, so after them was Washington and Miami was what we all picked. We all picked the exact same things. We picked Washington after that and then Miami after that. And in actuality, it was Mets were second, Miami was third, Atlanta was fourth, and Washington was last. That's how it actually came out.
Yeah, the Marlins, while not good enough to matter at all, were a lot better than I certainly thought they'd be, and I think most people.
And we all picked the Phillies and the Mets to be wild cards, and Atlanta winning the division. And, Philly won the division, and there was no wild cards from that division at all.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we were off.
Well, the other one we'll talk about the most, I'm sure, is the AL East. I did not do my Yankees podcast for the last series, but obviously they played really well, and they finished the season on an 8-game winning streak, and seem ready for the playoffs for the first time in a while. I have a little bit of hope, a little bit of I don't want to say confidence, but they're definitely playing well at the very least. They're not going in backwards or on a downtrend. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, it was me and Jordan both said Boston would come in first, and Al had the Yankees. But then I had the Yankees in second. Al had Boston in second. Jordan, you had Baltimore in second and the Yankees in third. And we had Baltimore in third, me and Al. And then we all had Toronto fourth and Tampa Bay fifth. And of course, Toronto won the division.
And the Orioles finished last.
Yes. Doesn't make any sense.
Brutal. Go ahead, Jordan. You take this one first.
Yeah, I thought Baltimore was going to be a lot better than they were because, the previous year they actually were great. They played phenomenal. That whole young core was it was awesome. Like to see, like you even got the spirits up, like, oh, here's your core right here with, Gunnar Henderson, Rutschman, all these guys. And it just fell right on their face. Like they really did not play great baseball at all.
Yeah, I mean, we all had them as wild cards. All three of us had Baltimore as a wild card.
Yeah, because here's my thing. They have the team to do it. Like they are really, really good. It's just
We lost you. Al, do you hear Jordan?
No, he broke up. It
Yeah.
sounded like a bad sell spot, maybe not like
The
you lost
injury
him.
bug came again, but he
There he
said
is. We got him.
Yeah, we lost you,
got
Jordan.
hurt
No, we lost him again.
in IL.
Jordan, we can't hear you. Well, while he's trying to figure that out, Al, yeah, we had Baltimore getting a wild card, both of us, but Toronto is the real surprise. I thought they would be pretty decent, but I did not think they were going to win the division because normally, they're pretty jacked too and stacked, but every year they end up falling flat and they're kind of like fraud contenders.
Totally.
But this year it worked out for them.
Yeah, they were a stunner. Where did I have them picked? Fourth?
You had them four. We all had Toronto fourth, all four of us, all three of us.
Man, I'll tell you, man, they were the stunner of the, one of the stunners of the year for sure. Maybe the stunner of the year in a positive way. It's funny because, you look at their team and, their offense was great. I mean, George Springer, who we've both, been critical of at times, had maybe the best year of his career, certainly his best year in quite some time. He had an OPS of 959 this year.
Yeah, I don't get it. He had a great year out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, even stole 18 bases, like he's 26 again. I mean, unbelievable. Vlad had a decent year, but not a banner year for him. It was a good year for anybody, but it was only 23 home runs and 84 RBIs. It's not like top notch Vlad, you know what I mean? But they got resurgences out of Springer, freaking Dalton Varsho put up an 832 OPS, 20 home runs, 55 RBIs in 71 games.
Yeah, I mean, I did not expect any of that.
None of it. If you had told me because Anthony Santander turned out to be one of the worst free agent signings of the year, which I was on that one. I did not like that signing even a little bit. And he batted 175 with a 565 OPS in the 54 games he managed to play. But if you had told me that was wasted money, I would have told you this would have been a really tough year for them. And they put up one of their best seasons, probably since Paul Molitor was still playing. I mean, this really blew my mind. And you look at their pitching staff, it's not awesome, but they won 94 games. I still can't get over it. Who's their ace? Kevin Gausman at 10-11 with a 3.59 ERA, or Chris Bassett at 11-9 with a 3.96 ERA? Add up. Jeff Hoffman, the guy they stole from the Phillies, who I love, wasn't awesome. He blew 7 saves and had a 4.37 ERA. How does this add up to what happened, Craig? I don't understand it with this team.
And either Jordan, are you back?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you
We
now.
got you.
Sorry, driving around. Had a thing.
All good. You're in a good spot now, my man. If you want to jump back in on this, we're just talking about the Blue Jays and how they surprised both me and Craig a lot.
Yeah, and because you know what, they started the season 16-22 or something ridiculous like that. They were not really a good team to where the point I was thinking, okay, you know what? If they're out of it, then you trade Vlad, you trade Bo, you get anybody that you can and rebuild for 2026. And that was not the case. I think what happened was once they locked up Vlad long term, that's when everything went really, really well for them.
Yes, for some reason everything turned around.
That's a good point, actually.
And then I just had to say, with that in mind, is that they are a team that is dangerous because they will do what they have to do. They're not going to try to hit like, hey, here's Vlad up to bat. He's going to try to hit a home run. No, he's going to play to win. Like, he's got guys on second. He's going to get a base hit to make sure he scores. They're going to bunt people over. They play small ball and is working very, very well for them. I think that's why they ended up being the way that they are right this year.
Having said that, I don't think they have a snowball's chance in hell of doing anything. I don't think, they're not a World Series contender in my mind anyway.
I don't think so either.
I mean, of course, they surprised us during the year, so they can surprise us again now.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, Craig. And, yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe they'll surprise us, but just looking at it now, I don't think they're really a huge threat to like go to the World Series or anything, but we'll see. We could be wrong. Um, let's see. We had Tampa Bay came in fourth. We talked about Baltimore. Um, we'll talk about, let's talk about Boston.
Um,
You had them winning the division.
yeah, well, I thought they were going to be good. Especially with that guy Crawford, uh, Bregman, um, Casas, all these guys, Crochet, another one.
Yeah,
I thought they had the players. It was just now let's put them on and let's get things rolling again. Um, also who would have thought that a 37-year-old Aroldis Chapman will be as good as he is? I
yeah,
mean,
that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
How did that happen?
I have no
Unbelievable.
idea, but he looked like he was 26 and throwing these things. It was amazing of how insane he was. I think he went like he went on something of like retiring like 54 batters in a row before giving up a hit.
Yeah, something crazy.
Like, he but I think really her ball was they have a chance in the summer months, July, and again it just all fell down once Roman Anthony went down. Once
Yeah,
they did that, they didn't have a good leadoff man. They had like 4 or 5 different leadoff types in, in the batting order. It was kind of stressful for them once he went down because he is kind of like to me at least. Maybe you guys have a different opinion. He is kind of like an old school leadoff guy where he hits, he steals bases. He's like your typical guy, like kind of like a Ricky Henderson. Not at that level, but he's kind of similar in a way.
Yeah, and he put up a massive on base percentage, which, he batted 292 on base percentage of 396. I mean, that is just, you
yeah,
got to,
that's
and
huge.
that is Ricky Henderson-esque, although, we're not going to compare him to Ricky as a player. He's one of the greatest of all time, but that part is for sure.
Yep, yep. And another thing too is, Casas goes down for the year, right? He's not coming back. Roman Anthony's down, and then they trade Devers,
Yeah.
and I thought that they would be done, and after they trade Devers, they take off again.
Yeah, they got better. Yep.
Crazy. And Devers is the first person in I don't know how many years since I think the early 2000s when the rules changed to there was no to tiebreakers. Before there was tiebreakers, remember to break a tie they would play a 163rd game, and that went away. I don't know exactly the year, but that's been going for a while. But because Devers when he got traded, San Francisco had played one less game than Boston, so he actually played in 163 games this year.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, the stat you're referring to is the first player since 2008 is
with
he
100
did that.
with 160. Okay, yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Because I
I
know
only
the
remember.
rules used to be I remember in like the 80s and 90s, players would have 163 every once in a while because there would be that extra game, because they always played an extra game to break a tie, and now they don't do that anymore.
Right,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, on to the New York Yankees. And the real MVP, Aaron Judge, I don't want to hear any crap about Carolina. It's not even close. But anyway, uh,
I love it.
I
I
love
love
I
it.
love how they played down the stretch. That's the bottom line. Um, we gotta have some momentum going into the playoffs for the first time in a while, and a little bit of a positive outlook for the first time in a while. And I can only imagine. Can you imagine if Garrett Cole was on this team? Oh my God!
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing. I'm a little worried about Cam Schlittler getting a game 3 start if it's 1-1. That's going to be really stressful.
You could be up Schlitz Creek.
Exactly. No, no doubt. But, I can't complain about, to end the year. They did their job. Toronto just was able to hold them off just enough. They finished with the same record, but they had a tiebreaker. But either way, they had more wins than I thought. I had them for like 88 wins, and they ended up with, I think, 93 or 94. Best record in the American League. That's the thing that sucks is they tied Toronto for the best record in the American League, but because Toronto had the tiebreaker, they've got to play in the wild card round.
Right. That was huge. Yeah, that forced them to play some extra games. Could hurt them down the road, but yeah, I think they're a better team than Toronto right now, personally, even though the record doesn't say it.
Yeah, and a series against Toronto, I'd be more confident than I am in the series against Boston. We don't play well against them. We just flat out do not play well against Boston.
Yeah, they were 9-4 against the Yankees this season. Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, anybody have anything to add on the Yanks? Jordan, what do you think?
I think they could be dominant if the bullpen works out the way it's been the last couple of weeks. Otherwise, I think if it doesn't and you can get to Bednar, I think they're kind of SOL,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yep.
Because, Williams is he was up and down. I want to say he was terrible. I would say that, he was.
Yeah, he was terrible, but then the
decent.
last 8 or 9 outings, he's hasn't given up I think a base runner or at least a hit, definitely not a run in his last 9 outings.
Right. And then Duvall is, I don't know. Me personally, I don't have confidence in him.
I don't either. Apparently,
because
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because he'll have one good outing, then he'll come back and he'll be terrible again, and then you'll have another good outing.
Apparently, he is the definition of the old school closer who doesn't do well unless it's the 9th inning in a save situation. Like any other situation throughout his career, he's not been good in that. He's only good in the 9th when he's closing. And it's a save situation. Other than that, he's been pretty bad. And on the Yankees, he's never going to be in that situation. So I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know. It's got to have to get used to it. I'm sorry to say it.
He's going to be back next year. He's on a 2-year contract. He had another year on his contract.
Oh yeah, no. I think almost. Yeah, I think same thing with Bednar. I believe is the same thing.
Yeah, Williams will be gone next year. He was he had 1 year left, so he'll be gone. But yeah, they're playing well. Stanton is hitting, Judge is hitting. So when all you really need are those two hitting well, and it should be okay. But I don't like how they played against Boston, so it's definitely going to be nerve wracking.
I agree. I think if you're a Yankee fan, this is not what you wanted. Just because you said they never play well against the Boston Red Sox. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, I completely agree. There are 2 really, really hot opening round matchups, and that's one of them.
Well, let's go to the NL. NL Central with 3 playoff teams. Milwaukee wins the division. The Cubs and the Reds are wild cards. And we did have those 3 as our top 3, just in different orders. We all had the Cubs win the division. I had Cincinnati. Al had Cincinnati in second as well. Jordan, you had Milwaukee and then Cincinnati in third, and we had Milwaukee in third. But regardless, they're all in. Milwaukee ended up just going on a crazy run after the early part of the year and really became the best team in baseball the rest of the way.
They had a massive hot stretch, man. Just massive, They limped down the stretch just a little bit. I mean, they were 4-6 in their last 10 and they weren't super hot in September, but boy, did they have a wonderful June through the end of August. And, yeah, they're a good team. They're a team to be reckoned with for sure.
Yep. I totally agree. Cubs
And how
as
about,
well.
I'm sorry, real quick, Craig, talking about some career renaissances before. How about freaking Christian Yelich?
Yeah.
What in the world, man? I mean, you could have bet me anything you wanted that dude would not play more than 120 games this year.
Yeah, because he never does.
Right, right. And he was Christian Yelich of old, man. It was cool to see, 29 taters, 103 RBIs, but more impressive, he played 150 games.
Yeah, so good. And then the Reds surprising everybody and backing into the playoffs because they lost on Sunday too. The Marlins knocked the Mets out, but it's not like the Reds did their part. They lost as well. They're not that good of a team, to be honest. They're the last team in the playoffs, and I think they're going to have an early exit. They're not that impressive, but the Mets were so bad and the collapse was so bad that they got in.
Agreed. Not a good team, but they got in, so it's something.
And then the Cubs, I mean, Kyle Tucker just had a really down year for him, and then he got
Yeah.
hurt a couple times. But they're there, and in the playoffs he usually shows up, so we'll see what happens there. They could be a force as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they're make a deep run. It's definitely possible for them. And then at the rest of the division, St. Louis and Pittsburgh were the last two. We had them in a couple different orders, but St. Louis, one of the OG teams, hope to see them back, getting back to be a better team coming up here in the next couple of years. Restock and reload.
No doubt. Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a division this year. I mean, you had the Brewers and the Cubs battling it out for a chunk of the season, but the Brewers just stepped on them eventually. But I mean, you have two teams with over 90 wins. Can't argue with that.
Absolutely. Jordan, anything to add for these for the NL Central?
Yeah, Milwaukee. I'm really surprised about. They're very, very well. The Pat Murphy is an old school guy, which I love. Like there's been times, I don't know if you guys have ever watched highlights, but sometimes they show interviews with the players, and
Yeah,
every player has gone on and said we respect the guy. Even the young kids who are new school, they said like he'll come up at us, we make a mistake, and we're getting thrown under the bus. He's coming up to us and he's like, "You gotta do this better. You gotta do this." You know,
that's good though.
and I like that. I think that's what needs to happen. Not if it's like 100% old school, maybe some mixture of both, but like I think that's what you need because you're gonna have some guys who like are just gonna think, "Hey, I'm not getting yelled at. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again." No, Pat Murphy has told these guys, "Look, you're doing this wrong. This isn't how you gotta do it." Next day, they're out in the field at like 8 o'clock in the morning, retraining everything. Like he makes sure, like he's like, "You're my team. This is the best team. You're the best players we have on this field. Let's go out and let's act like it." And like that, and they're like, "We respect that." So, you know, to be that kind of under a leadership, I think that's what got them going. It's like, hey, we are a good team. Let's prove it to them. And they're doing this without guys they've had like Burns, Williams. They did it without Reese Hoskins. They had Andrew Vaughn from Chicago.
Yeah,
was putting out ridiculous numbers.
Talk about
And
resurgences. My goodness.
yes, exactly. They are just such a great team that it's insane of how good.
what about Cincinnati? I mean, was this all just the new, the manager now, Tito? I mean, he's obviously one of the best ever. You think this is
I
just
don't.
attributed to
I
him?
think it's a. I think it is a little bit, but they aren't really that. I mean, are they ridiculous? But they do have the young talent
Yeah, they're the,
to
like I
help
said,
push them there.
yeah, they're the
And,
last playoff team, and they should be, or not, or they shouldn't be in at all, one or the other. They really backed in here and it just kind of fell into it. They really didn't earn it or do much to make
yeah,
it,
but
but they got there.
yeah, but like also like what's healthy, Hunter Green is phenomenal. The other
Yes.
guy, I'm blanking on his name. Lodo, how do you pronounce his last name?
Nick Lodolo?
Yeah, Lodoto. I couldn't think of the name. Thanks, Al.
You got it.
But he's great too. When I think people kind of underestimate him, but like in a couple years, I think we'll be talking about him. I really like him. He's very, very good.
Andrew Abbott was
I know.
great too.
Yeah. You know,
Yep.
and then I know De La Cruz had like a bad year, but I think that had to do something with mentally. He played the whole year, and he was going on like this cold streak. I don't know why they didn't sit him down. I think that's more of like a mental problem. But like when he's on, he's on. Like he's probably one of the best shortstops in all of baseball
Oh yeah,
if
he's
he
one of the
could
best
get.
players. Yeah.
So I think overall the Reds are really a good team. I know people like to give credit to the manager and be like, there's the Terry Francona effect. I agree with that, but he's also just trying to do and put the best team on the field. The players themselves got to play well, and they have. They're they're really not that bad of a team. If they could add a couple more pieces, I think they could be up there with the Cubs and the Brewers.
Yeah, they're promising. They are. And as good a manager as Francona is, they only won 6 more games than last year. So, and you could attribute that just to young player growth. I do love Terry, but boy, did he stomp on Ellie De La Cruz's steal future. I forgot that he is a steal killer. Jordan and I talked about this halfway through the season. Ellie went from talking about 100 steals to stealing 37 bases, and that's
Yeah.
Tito.
Yeah. He doesn't like it. I don't know why. He
Nope.
just doesn't buy in.
He does not. I think that I really think that played a part in his down offensive year too. I really do.
Yeah.
But he'll have to learn because Tito's not going anywhere for a while.
I agree. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
we're gonna do the Central, the AL Central, and then we're gonna cut it, and make this a two-parter. I don't want to go over an hour.
Right on.
The second part we'll do the West, AL West, NL West, and then go over the playoffs.
Sounds good.
All
All right,
right,
that sounds good.
so we're gonna go with the Central right now, the AL Central. Cleveland wins it. We all had, I had Cleveland as a wild card coming in second. Al, you had Cleveland winning the division. Good on you.
Hey, I got one right. Woohoo!
Jordan, you had Cleveland in third. And then Detroit ended up being a wild card. We're going to talk about them for sure. Jordan, you had Detroit winning the division. Al, you had them second. I had them fourth because I'm an idiot. And then it was Kansas City, Minnesota, and the White Sox. Minnesota, of course, we know, gave up at the trade deadline, sold everybody off, and really became one of the worst teams from the trade deadline on. The White Sox, I mean, what are you going to say? They're just terrible, and they came in last, as we all predicted for sure. So let's talk about, well, first of all, I think Detroit is the lead story considering the lead they had and they blew.
No doubt. No doubt. A big fat collapse. They were, where did I write this down? I wrote down.
I know at one point Cleveland was down by 15 and a half games.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
not only was Detroit 2-8 in the last 10 games of the season, but they were 49-53 since June 1st.
Yeah. No, they have the same, to me, They have the same questions they had last year.
Yeah, with how bad they're playing, I don't think they're much of a threat either
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
they're not.
Agreed.
They're really not. I just think that it's they thought they were good. They really didn't get like a big free agent. Because everyone was like, okay, they're gonna get Bregman, or they're gonna get this guy, they're gonna get that guy. Like they were linked to so many people, and
Well, then you thought that they were right to not do it because they started out so well. I mean, they were the best
yeah,
team in baseball in June, but while we were in June, at that point, they were like head and shoulders above everybody.
yeah, no, you're
Well,
to me, I think it's you know, there's nothing wrong with going with your young core and who you have, because obviously they added to that with a couple of guys, but it's just then there's the pitching, and you knew you didn't have a good pitching staff, and you still didn't
didn't address it.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's just again, it's like the same thing as last year. Terrence Skubal and who else?
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going with. And it's like I said, like we talked about people having surprising years. I forgot who the heck we mentioned, but even Javier Baez just play. Hey, you're gonna play center field, which you never played before, and you think like he's been playing it his whole career. like he only played shortstop and second. Torres. I mean, we all know Gleyber Torres. He's been really well for them. It's
yeah,
just now we're to the point of you got to add pitching. Jack Flaherty is not that good. We don't have, Mize. I think they're even iffy with. It's all over the place right now for
yeah.
the
I fully
them.
expect Cleveland to wipe them out with them. They probably win two straight.
Oh, I think so too.
I think it's only because of Screwball do I think they have a chance to win one. It could. It's funny because I think Cleveland's going to win, but they could be down 0-1 in a 3-game series.
Right, and then just do the next two. That
Just
that's
plow
that's
them.
like
Yeah.
possible as well. So let's talk. Well, Kansas City. I mean, they finished third, but they were a distant third. Um, they've got Bobby Witt, but they're still a ways away. I thought maybe they were gonna turn a corner this year. I was way off on them. But Cleveland. I mean, down the stretch, the last month, what did they go on what was it, like something like 18 out of 20 or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, they had a big run. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'll try and find it.
I mean, just crazy. I know, yeah, they got crazy hot and, yeah, just never let up and just chased down Detroit. And Detroit, we gave the record, what they did the second half and what they were looking like from June on. And Cleveland made up 15 and a half games to come all the way back and win the division. Craziness. And then as it sees fit, as very fittingly, Cleveland gets Detroit again now in the wild card round. And we just talked about, Detroit's best chance is going to be game one with Scooble. And then after that, Cleveland might win the next two or would be favored to win the next two. And they're favored to win this series with all three of us.
Incredible. I can't find the stat you were talking about, Craig, but they were 20-7 in September, a 741 win percentage in September.
Yeah, that's good enough right there.
So
Yeah.
also, this is what I want to talk about, because everyone likes to predict like the whole MVP thing. We know it's going to be Judge and Cal Riley, wherever you want to put. Can we just talk about? And I always get, it gets me aggravated with this. But can we talk about how underrated Ramirez is?
Oh,
He
he's
is highly underrated because without him, I don't think Cleveland gets to where they are right now. You want to talk about a valuable player? He's the MVP for the Cleveland Guardians, hands
Absolutely.
down.
I mean, I can't even name most of their starting lineup. They don't have anybody of any note other than him. Well, Stephen
Yes.
Kwan.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
He's incredible. Absolutely. He's
yeah.
an absolute
He
beast.
is the MVP of this Guardians team, hands down. He is
Not,
highly, highly underrated.
yep,
And I think people don't give him enough credit. He is like the face of this franchise.
absolutely. And if MVP was truly what it was meant to be, he would definitely be in the running every year because without, like you said, without him, they're worthless basically. Their lineup is really, really bad. So he's a true MVP, should be a true MVP candidate. But it's not really MVP. I mean, it is to a degree, but not really as well, because otherwise he'd be like a perennial winner just about every year, because no one's more valuable to his team than him.
And to
No one.
back that up, Craig, I'm 100% with you. To back that up, there are only 2 players on the entire rest of Cleveland's roster who played more than 44 games and have an OPS over 700.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah, that's Stephen Kwan at 704 and Kyle Manzardo at 768 and Jose Ramirez 863.
Wow.
Well, all right, we're at 51 minutes. I think it's a good spot to shut it down here, and we'll pick it right back up. We'll do the AL and NL West, go over those. Then we'll go over the playoffs, our playoff predictions, and then we'll do some predictions for the real playoffs that are actually happening, because our playoff predictions from the beginning of the season are way off.
That sounds good to me, man. Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
All right, guys. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to stop this and wait a tick before I actually disconnect. So once we stop, just chill out for a second, and then I'll disconnect us, and we'll get right back on.
Perfect, man.
All right, guys.
All right.
Everybody who's joining us, make sure you join us for part 2. It'll be up the same time as part 1. Until then, we'll see you later.